After having a look.
It does allow you to change stuff on the ship. Or you can just bump your character, because you can increase an attribute by 1.
Yes, as long as
That's
it does
pretty
not
good.
exceed 11.
Oh, it's 11 the max. I got 12. So 11's the max now.
So for a milestone, if you are going to change an attribute, you can increase an attribute by 1, but you cannot increase it above 11. That's further. The maximum is 12, but for a milestone, you can only increase it up to 11. So if you want to be able to increase something to 12, then you need to have a character arc rather than just a milestone, which is a callback to a callback to a callback.
Ooh.
So,
All right.
All back
More
to
Orions, please.
more, exactly. In this example, Tavish would have to remember that she took cold vengeance on Orions hacking her ship, which derived from the original instance of Orions hacking a security system. So that would be a 3-step, if you can see what I mean now. So yeah, that would be how you do it. Right, seeing as it is 2 o'clock, I am going to quickly shift us over into the intro video, and then we shall get cracking, hopefully on episode 26. Don't go away, folks, we'll be right back. Hello folks, and welcome along to the continuing adventures of the USS Combs. I am MJ the GM, and I will be your games master for the next 3 hours. With me are most, but not all, of the Combs crew. Our helm officer is currently yet to be roused, so we'll have to just wait until she arrives. But in the meantime, hello! Welcome to everybody joining us on Twitch or Moonbeam. And for those joining us on Moonbeam, hello to my fellow Tabletop Guilders. Now then, first things first, we are going to get to our usual plug-a-doo, so Chris, take it away.
Hello, thank you. As usual with me, I've still got my YouTube channel going on, my retro review series, Having a Mosey. Work is underway as always on the Phoenix Wright video, chipping away there slowly but surely. Got about 10 minutes worth of footage at the moment, gunning for like half an hour. We'll see how that goes. So yeah, stay tuned.
Excellent. Hopefully there'll be no objections. Okay, moving swiftly on then. Very swiftly on. Okie doke. Some quick news then before we get too far into things. Some updates as far as 2nd edition of Star Trek Adventures goes. The guys who released it recently compiled a load of errata and have re-released 2nd edition. Most of it is just wording changes and some typing errors that turned up here and there, so not much that deserves too much attention, except for one slight change. They've now made it so that if your ship does not have the talent extensive shuttle bays, then your ship does not have the ability to support a scale 2 small craft. So shuttles are scale 1 small craft, but runabouts are scale 2 because they're that much bigger. But that is also the Guicha. The Gwicha, when we had it, before the whole fracas with the Klingons, was a Scale 2 ship. So what I'm going to do, because we've already established that the Combs could and did accommodate the Gwicha in its shuttle bays, we will ignore the extensive shuttle bays new ruling and just say that it's unique to the Combs, that they have at least a space inside the interior shuttle docks that allow for a Scale 2 ship, especially the Gwicha. It was a present from Gowron, after all, before, things blew up, literally. So that space would still might likely be there in the Combs' shuttle bays, so we'll ignore that for the most part. But the other new piece of news is that there is soon to be another book for Star Trek Adventures coming out called the Technical Manual, which means we're about to get a whole load more equipment lists that we could possibly play with. So you never know. We might get a couple of more bits of more interesting tech in the future that's maybe slightly more entertaining than the anti-grav sled. Maybe.
I doubt it.
I doubt it. But the thing that I'm really looking forward to, besides the fact that it's going to give us more career events for character creation, most probably focusing on the technical side of things. They're also going to give us some new ship talents, which are probably to do with technical related stuff. But the thing I'm looking forward to is they are going to give lists of what complications could mean for specific bits of technology, like, for instance, a turbo lift. If you get a complication whilst riding on a turbo lift, you might be able to roll a d20 and consult which random complication happens to the turbo lift. I think I read that the turbo lift itself is being taken out of the main book because they didn't have room, but they did put it up on their blog. So, yeah, fun times ahead for technical related complications. But in the meantime, yes, looking at the adaptive shield modulator and other such things can probably become either reasons to save up for or replace other ship talents, if you want to augment the Combs' already considerable abilities. Especially
you've got the advanced sensor suites, because that's changed.
Yes, it has.
In the second edition. So switching that out for something. But yeah, I just found adaptive shield modulator, given the conversation I was having with Dave. I was like, hey, by the way, Dave, we can also do this. On its own, it's not that good. It's resistance +1, it's okay. But we have to take an action to cause that to happen. It's not passive.
But if you raise shields while in silent running, yeah, that's cool.
That's actually really good.
Interesting. Now, what was the other one? It was
slim silhouettes or something like that.
Reduced sensor silhouette. Through a combination of advanced alloys, EM shielding, and electronic countermeasures, the Starship is difficult to detect via electromagnetic radiation and subspace sensors. Now, I hasten to note, Dave, that your character did gain a milestone, and a milestone says that you can swap out one ship talent for another. So now would be the time, maybe, to swap out advanced sensor suites for something else, if you want to.
I'd fully support that, because advanced sensor suites no longer provides the benefit that it used to, so we don't make use of it. High resolution sensors is still good, but advanced sensor suites, we don't make use of them.
I'm in like a three-way battle.
Okay, so you don't need to make a decision now.
Because I've got an idea for a new focus, which would be hacking. But I kind of thought, well, that can come under computers as well. So And then talents. There's a engineering talent called what I can't remember. Hold on. Something compliance. I can't actually say that.
Procedural compliance.
Compliance,
Yes.
yeah.
So
That
does
yes.
sound like it goes with Tavish.
When attempting an engineering task, you can remove a d20 from your dice pool, and if you do so, you gain an automatic success on your task. So it is an interesting way of ensuring that you get at least one success, but you are rolling less dice to do so. So it does actually, even though the name of the talent doesn't suggest something that we know Tavish to have, the somewhat gamble nature of the talent itself is very much in keeping with what we know of Tavish. So maybe they shouldn't have called it procedural compliance. There we are.
Tavish's compliance. Just for
Tavish's
like a couple of seconds.
Like I said,
what's the ship talents? Ship talents. What were we looking at?
So Advanced Sensor Suites doesn't do the same thing it does in 2nd edition that it did in 1st edition, which was to give you extra momentum based on successful sensor scans. So Mark's thinking that one's a good one to go. High resolution sensors does give you bonus momentum that you have to use straight away, probably for something like asking questions. Advanced shields and ablative armor and the phased Polaron beam cannon were all recent additions, so I doubt you want to swap those out anytime soon. So the one that does suggest itself is the Advanced Sensor Suites, if you're going to swap it out. But
well, I was saying that we'd swap out both the high resolution and the Advanced Sensor Suites. It's just that the Advanced Sensor Suites we get rid of first because we don't make use of it at all.
Which is fair enough.
And then when the next one of us, I'll tell you what, if I get a milestone next, I'll probably get that adaptive shield modulator if we had reduced sensor silhouette, so you can
do both.
Not quite cloaked with shields running is quite incredible.
You have to go outside and just paint the entirety of the hull black. Which is probably all it is, really.
It's just a fade.
It's just a fade, exactly.
What
I will say, Dave, is you don't feel like you need to make a decision now. It's saved. It's there.
Let's do the reduced sensor silhouette, because that's what we were talking about, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, I named it wrong. Sorry, I called it slim silhouette. Yeah, my bad.
Through a combination of advanced alloys, EM shielding, and electro countermeasures, the starship is difficult to detect via electromagnetic radiation and subspace sensors. Tasks attempting to scan or detect the vessel increase in difficulty by... because that's basically what I was just talking about before we started. So...
And we can get closer to places before we risk being detected, whereas before, as we approach, they'll know we're coming. Now, we won't be, and we can get closer. So it's basically cloaking.
I saw another one, but it says 25th century.
Yes, if you want something like that, you're going to need to actually do it as a science project. So
regenerative. I can't even say it.
Regenerative hull. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I saw that one.
That is reverse engineered Borg nanite technology. So this would probably be after Voyager came back. But like I said, stuff like that you can potentially do as a long-running science project that would then earn you that talent. It just might take a while. Nevertheless, we spotted another one.
Yeah, I have the electronic warfare system.
What in God's name is that?
Whenever a character at the communication station on the ship creates a trait to represent intercepting enemy communications, or to create interference or jamming signals which would hinder enemy communications. They may spend 1 momentum to increase the potency of that trait by 1 step, or to the effect a second enemy vessel.
So yeah, all good stuff.
Yeah, we'll do the reduced sensor silhouette then.
Definitely, for sure now.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
What was Sean doing it with?
I've forgotten it. Matt's already done it. No,
I've already done it.
Yeah.
Bang bong. Right,
So,
now,
that's
what
what
I
I
will
was
say
saying.
in this
Oh,
regard
sorry.
then, before anybody else jumps in, is that because the reduced sensor silhouette and the removing of the advanced sensor suites is all stuff that has to happen at a ship dock, because you need a major remodeling going on, this is going to have to be something that takes place after the end of this episode, between the end of this episode and the start of next, because these are major overhauls. So even though I have switched out the talents for now, the ship does not yet have access to those abilities. But considering what's going to be going on in this episode, it shouldn't make a blind bit of difference one way or the other.
Cool.
So, what were you going to say, Mark?
No, I don't remember. I don't think it was
Okay.
particularly important. It was probably just, ooh, cool.
Yes.
But it's
More
fine.
shiny stuff. Very fair and good.
I like shiny.
All right,
Oh, that
so
was
what-
it. Sorry. Do we want to do things like spending a claim? I know Liz isn't here yet. Just to
Well,
give her a chance to join.
technically, the mission that you undertook isn't wholly, completely, totally done yet. Which was why, when I noted your acclaim, I said it's for acclaim so far. Because technically your mission isn't completely over yet. This is
Ooh,
a
so we could-
2-episode story, as it were.
Oh, so we could get lots of points.
So
you said we
potentially,
got
basically,
an
Yeah, sorry, Chris.
advancement already. No, it's okay. You said we got an advancement already, though, right? Is that the one that lets you sort of like switch things up in terms of like reducing one stat for another?
adjustments, yes, everybody got an adjustment.
Cool. I'm happy to do one of those at the moment.
Okay, what would you like to do?
For SOT, I would just reduce the daring by 1 and then bring the presence up to 11.
Okay, no problem, you can do that.
Thank you. 7.
So daring is going down, but he's working on his personality, so yeah, that's interesting.
Just working on myself, reading some books. There we go.
The beard is now doing the talking. So yeah, that's fine. Sot is working on his interaction and his charisma. But as a result, he is becoming less fly by the seat of your pants, becoming a lot more procedural. That's what we do. We lower one to raise another. Groovy. Anybody else got any adjustments they would like to make before we start?
No, I'm good.
In that case, I am going to get us started on this episode, and to do so, I am going to need Chris to give me another Chief Medical Officer's log.
Oh, cool. Chief Medical Officer's log, stardate 50354.1. It has been 24 standard hours since the Coombs arrived at Yuul Minor III. Dr. Ram and her team have successfully deployed to the colony and are now dealing with the disease outbreak. Meanwhile, the captain and senior officers have requested permission to speak with the colony's leader, a Mr. Tarin Gant, in regards to the appearance of the Orions in orbit before the Coombs arrived. Dr. Ram has allowed the interview to take place, but only on the condition that I accompany them in order to ensure that the strict quarantine protocols are adhered to.
All in the gang. So let's get everybody down to the pop-up medical facility that was created on Yuul Minor. So, here we are. You have all entered through the decontamination area and are now being cleared for entry. Nurse Pondicott, who is one of Dr. Ram's assistants, is working the decontamination protocol and is now, you're going through this area, being scanned to be allowed further entrance into this prefabricated facility. You all scan as clean, therefore Nurse Pondicott allows you access. Nurse Pondicott indicates that Mr. Tarin Gant, the colony leader, is in the bay just across from you, and asks that the visit be kept as brief as possible so that Mr. Gant's convalescence can go on as comfortably as possible. So, Captain Sobek and the rest of his senior officers, plus Madeleine Bonnet, with your first officer, of course, remaining back on the ship to keep on coordinating the efforts of the disease response team. So, in whatever order you want to proceed, you may proceed. Phlesc needs to use the bathroom. I'm almost surprised that Phlesc isn't actually here in his full EVA suit, but there we go. So, Captain Sobek walks in, and you find another one of Dr. Ram's associates, Nurse Fal, who is currently seeing to the well-being of Mr. Tarin Gant. So, Captain Sobek starts things off. Mr. Gant, I am Captain Sobek of the Combs, and these are my senior officers. We would like to ask you some questions, if we may, about the series of events leading up to our deployment here, if we may. Aha! And with that announcement, I believe we have... We do! Hey, Les.
Sorry.
It's alright. It's quite alright. We've only just started, so you haven't missed anything. So, Mr. Gant has currently got a breathing mask over his face as he's obviously taking in medication and oxygen to help him breathe, and nods that he's willing to answer questions about what happened. So, he takes off his mask briefly, even though Nurse Fal does lean over to Dr. Sott and say, not too taxing, he still needs his rest.
Gotcha.
So, Mr. Gant, well, where do I begin? We set up the colony about a month ago. The intention was to start investigating planets in the neighboring systems. Starfleet Science and Archaeology had gotten indicators that there may well have been previous settlements on these planets by ancient civilizations. So, our team, my team, was chosen to examine this planet. We focused mostly on setup, since we didn't know how long we were going to be here, so there's only about 35 of us. Zoologists and archaeologists for the most part. And everything was going along fine until about a week or so ago. We had finished setting up all of our prefabricated buildings and shelters, and so we were ready to begin work, at least initial forays. We had just received our first batch of supplies from a civilian vessel. So we sent out scouting parties, and that was when our scouting party, who had gone out to the northwest, reported back that one of their team members had reportedly been taken ill. We are only a small group, like I said, only 35 people, so our 3 medical officers were able to identify that our team member had contracted some kind of virus. But then before long, others started getting sick. And our small medical team were quickly overwhelmed by the sheer amount of us that started falling ill so quickly. Before long, over half of us were incapacitated with this virus, whatever it was, and I sent a subspace alert requesting aid from Starfleet. I would say it was about... Excuse me. I would say it was about 3 hours or so before you arrived, when the Orion ship turned up. They parked themselves in orbit, and they sent us a communication stating that they had medical supplies on board that would allow us to combat this outbreak. In return, I remember this vividly, even though I was still in the grips of fever myself, they asked for unrestricted access to the planet, and that we not interfere with any of their operations on it. I was deliberating whether or not to actually acquiesce to their demands. More of us were getting sick by the hour. I was on the cusp of giving them what they wanted when you finally turned up, and then they left. So thank goodness you did turn up. And that's pretty much it. That's all that happened. As far as I can remember. And Sobek looks to the rest of you with an indication that he wonders if any of you have any questions you would like to ask.
What can they tell us about the civilian ship that showed up in the first place just before the outbreak?
Standard civilian trading vessel. Bulk hauler. One of the ones you often get doing supply runs to outlying territories. Nothing much. I don't think I even caught their names. They just beamed down. They beamed down the supplies and then left. Have they had any other interactions with the Orion Syndicate before?
Yeah, sorry, I didn't want to interrupt, but I'd also forget.
That's fair enough. No, we've had no such interactions with any criminal elements like that. I mean, we're a science team investigating a planet for possible past civilizations having colonized it or been born on it. I don't know what it was that we'd have that they'd want.
What kind of supplies were beamed down? Have you guys looked at them?
Yes.
Dandy?
Medical supplies. Also standard supplies. Replicator gel. Equipment. Mostly scanning equipment. All the and other amenities that we didn't have time to pack during our initial foray here. Mostly just comfort things. Is at this juncture that a comm badge chirp happens to Captain Sobek's comm badge, at which point he raises a quizzical Vulcan eyebrow and taps his communicator. Sobek here. Ensign Ravalon here, Captain. I've just been informed by Ensign Eversion that there is a sudden appearance of a power reading on sensors. Apparently, it appeared after a minor tremor some miles to the northwest of your current position. The power signature appears to be artificial. I can put Ensign Eversion on if you wish more information, Captain. Captain Sobek looks around at the lot of you and then says,
yeah. Fhlesc is nodding. Yeah, we more info.
Mr. Gant, if you will excuse us for just a moment, my officers and I would like to have a conversation. Please patch through Ensign Aversion. Aversion here, Captain. Yeah, don't know what to tell you. We were monitoring the planet, and there was a slight tremor about 1.5 miles northwest of your position. Minor tremor, nothing much. Seems to be nothing but forested area in that general locale, but something must have been unearthed. A fissure opened or something, and we started getting sensors reading a power signature. The nature of the power signature at the moment is unclear. Definitely artificial. Reads like it's coming from somewhere beneath the surface. I can't quite get an accurate scan of the fissure itself, but initial scans suggest some kind of empty space that's just been opened. The nature of the empty space suggests some form of ancient construction. It's possible an earth tremor just uncovered some kind of building? It's difficult to tell, Captain. Like I said, the power signature is coming from somewhere not too deep below the surface. Definitely strong enough to appear on sensors, nevertheless. Captain Sobek nods and signs out from the comm for the moment. I find it interesting that the tremor unearthed something in the same general vicinity as the first members of the colony to grow sick. At this present moment in time, I would suggest that the majority of our task here to deliver the disease response team has been met. The Orions have vacated the system, and we now have an interesting signal. I would suggest that we might very well investigate. What say the rest of you?
I do agree, Captain, and
Yep.
quite possibly find out exactly what this disease is, and might be able to find a cure a lot quicker.
I would agree. I will inform Dr. Ram of the current situation. Commander Phlesc, as my second officer, and the fact that both myself and the XO are otherwise engaged with efforts to coordinate with the disease response team, I would suggest that you take command of this exploration mission.
Thank you, sir.
However, I will advise that Dr. Sant does accompany the away team, on the off chance that there is a link between this sudden fissure appearing and the disease outbreak.
Of course. Yes, sir.
Would Gurkha like to join us, as this may be of biological interest?
Connie Monster, you with us?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah? Hello?
Yep, we can hear.
Okay.
Very
Yes,
well.
I would.
Then I will leave it to
Tavish.
your discretion, Commander.
If Tavish doesn't join us, does she want to work out what connection there could be with the Orion Syndicate? They seem to have known a lot, and they knew we were coming, and they seem to have been interfering with beaming down, possibly. Or would Tavish like to join us on this expedition?
Well, I will say, as far as Tavish is concerned, historical engineering, and you just heard the words power source.
We'll be bringing Tavish with us.
So one imagines eyes were somewhat agleam, but don't let me dictate your character's interests and actions, of course.
What? Agent power source?
Very well. I shall coordinate with Dr. Ram. The rest of you may feel free to go back to the combs and deal with this investigatory mission. Tavish is already moving towards Deacon Tam.
Come on, people, hurry! Chop, chop.
Chop, chop, indeed. All right then.
I mean, chop, chop, Commander.
Now you are both technically the same rank now, I do believe, aren't you?
No,
Yeah, you're Lieutenant Commander now.
Oh.
Yeah, you got the promotion.
So it appears that it didn't go down on your... There we go.
Ah.
The same happened to Gurkha, didn't it? Yeah, Gurkha was Lieutenant Commander too. Why didn't that carry over? Cmdr.
Oh.
So many commanders.
But Phlesc is in charge, so...
Technically, as second officer, yes.
Yes.
Level heads prevail.
Hold on. I think that may be a slight dig at Tavish, but she's just going to ignore that because, you know, shiny old stuff.
All right then. So, with an away mission now on your in your sights, is there any equipment that you would like to take with you?
I'm going to say it. Grav sled.
The grav sled.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
EV suits, just in case, you know, would EV suits protect us from a disease?
EV suits are essentially vacuum sealed suits to protect you against the rigors of the vacuum of space. So hopefully it should very much keep out a disease.
I would suggest that.
Yeah, vacuum sealed security blanket.
Oh, we don't need that.
Now I've suddenly gotten a picture in my head of Flesk hugging his EV suit at night.
Protect me.
Not one of his wives, just his EV suit.
Well, he's on
There's
a
nothing I can
ship.
nothing I
He's
can
on a-
say that screams faith.
What was that, Liz?
He's on the ship. His wives are on a space station.
Well, exactly.
So he needs something to cuddle when he's on the ship.
Aww. Oh, the
But that does not
conversations
mean
must
he
be
does
had.
not get
What?
teased by the rest of the crew.
Nevertheless, you know where to find equipment, yes?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't think, like,
Items, second edition, tools, portable items.
I guess I haven't really asked what the symptoms of this disease were. Like, there's
Ah,
not really
right,
anything
okay.
that requires like surgical stuff so far, right? It's
Surgical, not so much, no.
No.
From what Dr. Ram has indicated through her assistants and to Dr. Sott personally, because she would have had to have liaised with Holmes' sickbay, has a good few symptoms in common with the Andorian flu, so it has similarities, which is good news because that means they should be able to develop a cure for it. So they just have to nail down its gene sequencing and they can get a definite cure for it.
Do we need a EV suit?
That's
Yes,
entirely up to you.
but that may be just Flesk. But yes.
No, Bonnet may be a risk taker, but she doesn't play around when it comes to the flu.
There you go.
I think
Go on.
Gurkha wants to bring a gardening knife. That might be a stab knife. In that whatever environment we meet on, because you know, I want to see what plants they have and cultivate them.
Stab knife. Gotcha. So you can give yourself the trait of the equipment trait of cultivation knife, but just in case you do need to stab a fool with something, I will throw in dagger knife into your list of weapons.
Thank you.
I'm not sure if that makes me feel better or worse. They can keep
Don't
including
worry
other
about
folks. She's got a
I might
blade,
take
folks.
I'm taking the grav sled, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know whether to take the I don't even know where they are. Oh, armor. There you go.
EV suits. Oh, sorry. I thought you were going on about pattern enhancers. My mistake.
Do we need? I don't know if I need. Is everybody else taking EV suits?
I think it might be, what's the word I'm looking for? Not the word, but sensible.
I mean, prudent?
Appropriate.
Yeah.
I was thinking prudent.
Mine's been in my inventory for quite some time. It's not going
Yes,
anywhere.
it has.
I'd give that a wash when you get back.
Environment. So would the doctor suggest taking environmental suits?
Yeah.
How bad is the avian flu?
Andorian flu can hit you pretty hard. It affects your respiratory system mostly, like most flus.
Not like that.
Gives you the shivers, even more so considering it's the Andorian flu.
Okay. Alright, I'll take an EV suit if the doctor would suggest it.
Yeah, I'm taking one.
I was thinking about taking a personal force field to see if that actually worked.
Well, interesting thought. It's a force field. It keeps out most offensive-based. It protects you from most impact and weapon fire. I'm not sure about contagion, though.
I don't think it really counts as a projectile if someone sneezes at you.
Quite.
All right, we won't need a plasma torch, will we?
Well, that's up to you if you think.
I don't know, actually. We might find something we want to chop up and take back with us.
Oh, okay.
Do you want me to take a mass spectrometer and a plasma torch then?
I think the question
can
is,
take one of
do you
those.
want?
I could take one of those if you don't.
No. I'll take it. It's just, you know what? Yeah, there you go.
Mass
I'll take
spectrometer
both.
definitely. Plasma torch for the giggles.
For no other reasons that it's funny. Okay, gotcha.
I don't need a laser scalpel, do I?
Why
What?
do you have a laser scalpel?
The thought
What?
of Tavish with
Medicine.
medical
Pretty
equipment.
sure that's mine.
Give that back.
Stay in your lane, bro.
Has Tavish
we
been
don't-
in the medical equipment drawers again?
I may have pressed the medical devices and tools and portable items, and I was like, oh, okay, you never know.
You never know when you might need a scalpel.
A spare one for the doctor, at least I've got one on hand.
If Gurkha with a blade wasn't worrisome enough, I don't know if Tavish with a scalpel makes me feel any safer.
Makes her more dangerous.
Absolutely. Nevertheless, have we got everything we think we want to get?
Yeah, I've got everything.
Okay.
I think I'd like a hyper spanner, please.
What?
Payback.
Yeah, I think, yeah, you know what? I've got a spare hyper spanner. Here you go, Doc.
You never
Thank
know
you.
when it might come in useful.
Yeah.
Okay, the question I have to
all
ask
the
you,
human body
Waity.
needs from time to time is a little bit of percussive maintenance, that's all.
Exactly.
Glad we're all in agreement. Right, so the next decision the away team are going to have to make is, are you going to take a shuttle to the place, or are you just going to beam straight down?
I think a shuttle rather than beam down.
Okay, well that gives Bonnet something fun to do.
Plus, it gives
It's
us us room to shove stuff on.
Yeah,
okay,
and
good point.
it's less risky if Bonnet pilots it.
Well, okay, it's going to
Are
be...
you sure about that?
Yeah, it's not Tavish. The bar's already been set at a certain point.
Yes, quite. I believe...
I don't know. Tavish hasn't rammed another ship, though.
No, not deliberately, at least.
I haven't flown a ship since,
Since that time
Liz-
you nosedived a shuttle?
Yeah,
It scared the crap out of the first officer.
I actually took all my points away from Con.
So temptation was removed. I see. I get it. Right. Okay. If I'm not skilled in it anymore, then I won't get tempted to do it. Okay, fine. What we're going to do then...
More like her flight authorizations got revoked.
Yes, the shuttle bay goes into lockdown whenever Tavish is seen going anywhere near controls. Anyway, okay, if we're taking a shuttle down, there's the slight problem of that it's a very forested area where you're going to be heading towards, so Bonnet will have to put the shuttle down in a clearing as close to the area as possible, which is still entirely possible, but it will mean that there's still a bit of a trek to get to the place you want to go to. So, just for the sake of generating some momentum, can I get Bonnet to give us a control and con check to see how well she pilots you down? Oh, whoa. Well, Al Gore, blimey, 3 successes right off the bat.
And my nat one cracked the screen.
It was fantastic. Okay, so there we go. 3 successes, which means that you do have to square the shuttle kind of tightly in amongst some of the foliage, but it's not so big a difficulty that any damage is done to the shuttle at all. You've got a small amount of distance to walk, and it's mostly through forested area, so the footing isn't regular, but you're in EV suits, so as long as you don't rip them or anything like that, you should be fine. And so, let's get the crew to... Fits like a glue. Like a glove. You find that the outing is actually reasonably pleasant. You get to walk through a forested glade. Your tricorders indicate that you are not all that far from the power signature until eventually the tricorders chime that the power signature is in fact down a hole in the ground. Your tricorders detect there's definitely a space underneath the ground, and the space is far too regular to suggest it's natural in any way, shape or form. So that does seem to lend credence to what Ensign Aversion thought, which was that there's some kind of buried, constructed structure down underneath the ground. So, ancient ruins, maybe. So, how are you going to get down this hole?
I want to jump down.
Have we learned nothing?
Oh God!
Okay, correction. It was Tavish that hurt herself.
Yes, but she was following Gurkhow's example, so the blame can go both ways here.
Yeah,
I mean,
you
you can't blame a lemming for being...
No. We've got the anti-grav sled.
No,
We do have the anti-grav sled.
We
Oh,
used it
dear
before in the search for Sobek. We used it as like an emergency winch.
You did as well, didn't you? Well,
Yeah.
oh my God.
That was mine. That was my thing. I say we rebuild that and we make an elevator.
All right, can I ask a question first
Of course.
before we start creating an elevator? Is the Gurkhow actually going to jump down?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Oh, no.
Alrighty.
Okay, all right, Matt.
Yeah, we know what's happening, don't we?
Yes, I'm going to use obsessive tendencies.
You realise you've just given him another milestone. Obsessive tendencies now directs that because she didn't do it well last time, Tavish really believes she's gonna do better this time, maybe.
Yes.
Okay then. This is going to be fitness and security from both Tavish and Gurkhow, and I think I think you're going to have to both... are either of you assisting the other one down?
We didn't last time.
I do have a
No.
question for
Yes.
you, Matt.
Yo.
Would me jumping down count as plotting a course through unknown territory?
Interesting question.
That is a fantastic question.
Because Pathfinder, reduce the difficulty by 1, 2, or 3 to a minimum of 1. For each point you reduce the difficulty, you increase the complication range of the task.
Now, I would hasten to note that in this case, this is a talent that requires a high con score, and therefore a task to plot a course is usually done in a starship. But for shiggles, I'm going to say why not? For this one instance. Because there are 2 other members of the crew who are behaving like fools, so why not? Let's go this way too.
Yeah, no, she'll be like, just trying to plot a course looking down. With the best way out.
Yes, Chris. Sorry, Dave.
No, nothing from me.
Yeah. With me using obsessive tendencies, can I add a determination, please?
You want to use this to create...
You're making it harder.
Harder for yourself.
Yeah. Yes.
All right, then.
Madeleine. I think, as well, like before,
What was
I'd
it?
like to take a
Fitness?
point of momentum to use the reading.
Aha. Okay. So, Gurkow is going to use her study of parkour, because it served her so well last time, to try and tuck and roll with the impact. Tavish is going to do this because it happened not long ago and she thinks she can do better this time. And Bonnet is going to look before she leaps. Reduce the difficulty of the task, but by reducing the difficulty, up the complication range.
I'm going to leave the anti-grav sled with Flesk. Because I may need it. So I'm going to take the anti-grav sled off my character, and I'm going to... if you want to put an anti-grav sled on your character.
Yep, I'll get one now.
Okay, cool.
Dear me. Okay.
Flesk is going to start making the
Right.
elevator / stretcher recovery.
Right then. Gurkow, because you're instigating this, I'm getting Gurkow to lead this. Tavish is assisting in air quotes, because she's jumping as well. But the reason I'm making it an assist is because Bonnet is going, well, hell, if we jump that way into the middle, we might actually pull this off. Which means that Bonnet is going, yeah, I'm totally doing this too. As a result, the difficulty does go down to 2, but the complication range has gone up to 2 too. That's a lot of 2s.
Oh. Damn, I was hoping I could reduce it all the way to 1, because it said I could reduce it up to 3 times.
Oh. Do we seriously want to increase the complication range by 3?
Yep. Go on then.
All right,
Oh,
done.
Flesk just turns to Dr. Sott and goes, the one person I'm going to order not to do this is you. I'm going to need someone to fix them.
No arguments from me.
All right then, difficulty 1. So assuming you don't absolutely mess this up, but bearing in mind an 18, a 19, or a 20, and you get a complication. And there are 3 of you rolling, one of whom is rolling 2 dice. So, fitness and security from Gurkow, 2 dice, Tavish, 1 dice, Bonnet, 1 dice. And as we established before, you do have did the reading, so you're the only one with a focus.
Taking a momentum.
But I've just remembered Tavish is making this more difficult, so the... 1 success. There we go. Bonnet has achieved the success.
Yeah, so we need 2. We need 2, don't we? Oh,
was close.
So close.
But we've got 1 person left to roll.
Ah! Legion of Honor!
That.
No. I'm letting it happen.
Okay, never mind. I rescind my Legion of Honor then.
Tavish got the complication. Tavish gets the injury again. There is a horrific crack that happens when Tavish lands. And we upped the complication, so it's actually broken. Broken leg 2. Anything
you guys are,
and
actively giving my character more work.
yes,
We're giving you job security.
and everything that involves being mobile in any way is increased in difficulty by 2 for Tavish.
Okay, so have I broken both my legs?
You have broken one of them.
I haven't shattered. I've just.
You haven't shattered it, but one of your, your knee probably came out of the joint, and your shin cracked, broke in half, compound fracture.
Broken leg.
So there it is on injuries. Broken leg 2 rather than shattered ankle.
Shattered knee.
So yes, Tavish is in tremendous amounts of pain. But Dr. Sott and Commander Phlesc are not sure if they feel any sympathy whatsoever.
I'm sure that I don't.
I thought AIs were meant to be intelligent. I'm surprised
It's not the AI that did it.
Hey,
Well, no, the AI doesn't
Artificial
have enough
incompetence.
artificial incompetence.
Hey! I got a milestone out of this. It was worth it.
Oh,
speaking
dearie
of
me.
which, can I work on this lift for me and Dr. Sott to safely descend
Yeah.
and help out?
No
Yeah,
problem.
I'm gonna need. I'm gonna need that grab sledge.
Control and engineering, please. Difficulty 1, since you've done it before.
Yep, control and engineering.
Let's see.
Do I want to do anything? We don't have that much momentum, so I will use the Star Cross to increase my focus range.
Which focus to use, though?
Manufacturing.
Yeah, I'll
we've
go with that
got-
too.
Yep. Pew. And just using focus, dedicate focus. Just 2 dice, nothing crazy.
Okay, 1 over and above what you needed. Well done. So, using the sensible option, Dr. Sott and Commander Phlesc lower themselves slowly down into the crevice that opened up, that the others dove dramatically into. And so,
Flesk is just going to give a knowing look to Dr. Sott. Go help.
It's
I'm glad you're a talented doctor.
Fine, I can still walk. I can still walk. I'll walk.
The heavier the sedation, the better, Dr. Sott.
The lieutenant commander did not follow my plot, plotting the course perfectly.
your execution was less than perfect, Tavish. So
Should
this
I do a
time at
roll
least,
for,
Gurkha... Sorry, Chris. Go on.
Should I do a roll for Tavish?
Absolutely, yes. If you want to at least try and give us some alleviation, so that she's not incapacitated the entire time.
You
What
can
am I
make it
doing?
difficult. You can make it difficult for yourself to get a determination. Somehow making it a compassion.
I'd say do it.
Control and medicine from Dr. Sott, please.
Thank you. Can I do emergency medicine or like trauma
Absolutely.
surgery?
Emergency medicine sounds more like it. Difficulty 1. You got lots and lots. 4 even.
Good.
Bump, bump, bump. Right. Tavish, the good news is that with help from Dr. Sott, your EV suit is made into a splint, essentially. So the EV suit's leg, the one that's over the one that's broken, has been locked. So you can walk on it as if it was a peg leg, because it has almost now no articulation whatsoever. And Dr. Sott has given Tavish enough painkillers to alleviate the worst of the discomfort. But Tavish is still going to be limping along. Yes, I think that's actually a justified a justified punishment there. Okay, so you find yourselves in a subterranean area with a lot of debris covering the floor. So, as if Tavish's progress through this place wasn't going to be compromised enough already, it's going to be made that much more difficult by all the loose debris and scree that you've got going around here. There is space down here, however, suggesting multiple rooms, or at least used to be multiple rooms. Whether or not many of them are accessible anymore. There's evidence of stairways, maybe even an elevator access shaft. But there's also erosion on the floor from water leaking down from above. So certain areas of this interior may not be entirely safe. And even though Mark has just excused himself for all of a couple of moments, I am going to say that you get another badge chirp. Aversion to Commander Phlesc and team? Sorry to disturb you, away team, but the Orion ship has just turned back up in orbit, and we're detecting transporter signals. And so, at the same time...
What's my ship? These painkillers are really good.
A obviously green Orion transporter beam, several transporter beams materialize a number of Orion individuals. Most noteworthy, of course, is that there is that very same woman from before, the one who sent you a communication before the Orion raider left. She is flanked by a pair of identical twins and other Orion brutes, let's just call them. The Orion captain looks you all up and down, clad in your EV suits, whereas you notice these guys are not wearing any EV suits whatsoever. Oh my, Starfleet! Well, don't you look adorable? Well,
oh look, it's the Orions.
Well then, as much as I would love to just stay here and exchange pleasantries, as it happens, the structure that you are now walking around in, along with myself and my fellows, is one of high cultural significance to my people. You see, this used to be an Orion building. So, technically speaking, anything that you find in here is technically property of the Orions. This place used to belong to my people, you see, according to ancient star charts. You're free to explore, of course, along with ourselves, but any and all artifacts you do discover are to be considered ancient Orion historical relics, and therefore should really be turned over to myself and my crew. So, have fun searching through the detritus. We'll be doing the same. Come along, boys. And she turns all of her various Orion males around, and she puts an arm over both of the each of the twins. See? Don't ever say that I don't take you anywhere educational. The Orions march off and disappear around this corner. Were you going to say something, Dave?
Just before they turn around, Tavish waves at them goodbye.
Well,
these painkillers are doing something to her. Like, they're making her really nice.
So, tricorders indicate that there's the potential of a stairwell that you could follow down, or you could try rappelling down what appears to be some kind of old elevator shaft, lift shaft.
Rappel without any rappelling equipment.
Gurkhow's living dangerously these days, I see.
Dr. Shaw, do you think you could keep her on these painkillers? I don't know. For the rest of the time she's on some combs.
Keep her drugged up forevermore.
Seems like it.
So should we go around finding some stuff then? Because I think that'd be really great.
Yeah, let's go find some stuff that we're definitely not going to hand to the Orions, because I don't believe a word she said.
Oh, they were just being friendly. Come on, let's go.
We should definitely explore with caution.
Yeah, okay, sir.
Let's go. And please don't jump in any more holes. You've only got one leg left that's working.
Okay, sir. No more holes, sir.
You're not sure whether or not you find this sudden usage of Sirs reassuring or deeply disturbing, but I'll leave it up to you to decide. Nevertheless, what was I going to nevertheless? Ah, yes. Those who are scanning around... no problem, Chris. No, actually, that's a good point. And Liz as well. Okay, I'm going to put this on Gurkhow then. Gurkhow, who's the science officer, more than likely scanning around with tricorder. You detect life signs.
Oh.
But these life signs are not humanoid, and they are currently clustered 1, 2, 3 levels down from where you currently stand.
Okay. There's potential pets if we want them. They're free. So let's find a hole and jump there.
Oh, I can't do that.
But potential
I've got an order.
specimens to research. So let's carefully move on.
Okay. So, stairwell or lift shaft?
Well.
Stairwell. The way you said that was beautiful. Please, stairwell. So yes, Tavish can try and move with certain speed, but she's going to find it very, very difficult going. So the amount of debris underfoot also makes it slow going too. Especially because you've got whacking great helmets on. You can look down and you've got lights coming out of your shoulders and the top of your EV suit, so you're well lit at least ahead of you, so it's not like you're caught by surprise and can't see where your footing is going, but Tavish is going to find it difficult nonetheless. And so, we proceed down some steps. Let's see where you end up. There we are. Right, so Tavish more or less at the back. Okay. Okie dokie. Right then. You come down a stairwell which exits here into this larger, longer room. There's still some debris on the floor which suggests pieces of the ceiling have come down. There appears also to be a corridor leading onwards. No sign of any Orions yet on this level you can detect. So, how would you like to proceed?
Let's walk on through.
Alright,
Scan
then.
and go.
Can I get Gurkow to give me an insight and security check, please? I'm going to keep the difficulty to myself.
Any foci?
I'll allow the god focus.
Yes.
Just as well I did. Okay.
Whew.
Gurkow scanning as she goes, taking Phlesk's lead, saying that Phlesc saying we should carry right on. There's an awful amount of debris here. There looks like there's a piece of ceiling has come down there with bits of what would essentially be rebar sticking out, but you're not sure. You like the look of those cracks, and so just as Gurkow steps on them, she feels the floor give way and manages to, with that one success, leap out of the path of, well, leap to one side so that the floor doesn't actually collapse. But those cracks in the floor would suggest some kind of damage, if not exacerbated by the weathering, the water damage that's dripping through. So, does not recommend anybody stepping on the middle section.
Thank God we have the anti-grav sled.
Well, that's a good point. But the anti-grav sled was used to give you an anti-grav lift down into the establishment, into the ruins. So you left that back up yonder, on the floor above.
So, question: how difficult is it going to be for me to move to the side?
Yes, you might need help.
I'll go last.
Gurkow, if you could
I'll go last.
throw Tavish like a...
Dr. Sott is just going to blithely walk along the middle. Just
Sorry,
checking.
Apparently, in my absence, I missed the bit where this was like a death floor.
Oh, right, of course, yes, my pardon. Yes, Gurkow reckons the floor is weak, therefore if you stood on it for too long it will probably give out.
Gotcha, thank you.
So if you can make your way around the outskirts, you should be able to get to this part and proceed inwards without too much trouble. But of course, Tavish is the one that's going to need help here. So who wants to give Tavish a hand?
Is it possible for Bonnet to run and jump and just clear all of it?
Ooh. Daring and security, I think, for that one.
You've got this, Bonnet.
Bonnet's backing up, gearing up, ready for a run.
With the value of Fast and Furious apply to this, which you think, because you think she's fast enough to do it.
If you want to use that as an excuse to spend determination, that's fine with me.
Okay, good. I'm gonna need it.
And a 1, 2, 3, leap! Two successes. So yes, it's a close one. Bonnet races, leaps, lands, teeters, is swinging her arms and is about to fall backwards, but thankfully Dr. Sott's there to just grab hold of her and not let her fall backwards, so she makes it. Oof, that was close. Now Tavish is going to need to essentially be handed off from Gurkow to Phlesc to whoever's going to be able to haul her over the last bit of distance. So how would you like to get Tavish across?
Let's see.
They wouldn't. Just leave Tavish here.
Less bother.
With the spear of cleanliness, and my dagger will like skewer her across.
With the anti-grav
You
sled,
were.
works genuinely. Also, my god. But would the that took me a second to acknowledge the word skewer then. But could the anti-grav sled work as like some sort of like stretcher almost?
We don't have one. We've used it as a lift.
Because some people wouldn't jump down the hole.
It's because people jump down the hole.
Flesh just points at Tavish's leg.
I do have a really nice leg. Thank you very much, sir.
It would have been better if she would have followed my course.
Hmm.
But no, somebody had to think they were better than the pilot themselves.
I'm going to ask Gurkow and Phlesc to both assist with a fitness and security job here to just haul Tavish over the gap.
Don't expect much from Flesk when it comes to fitness.
I know.
I use the.
Whoa!
Can I?
Legion of Honor.
Yes, Connie.
Can I use the hand-to-hand wink? Combat focus, just not very combative.
It's really not very combative at all, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Are you sure you want to use your Legion of Honor, not your parent figure, Flesk?
Oh yeah, we have 3 people going. I can ignore the first one. Thank you for pointing that out.
Right then, for the final fitness and security from Tavish, please.
How many am I rolling?
2. They've assisted you as best they can. Flask very much not so much.
I haven't got a focus, so here we go.
Furiously, you didn't study this intently. Oh my god, okie dokie do. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi.
Do you not have a Legion of Honor?
No, I think I used... Oh no, I haven't used it yet!
Are we using a Legion of Honor?
Yeah, because I don't want to make things even worse for everybody.
Right then.
I feel like I'm derailing this episode if I do.
Okay, Legion of Honor has been used, but it's your one and only, so... There's a brief moment there where Flesk almost lets go of Tavish due to not quite being prepared to take her weight. So Flesk just flings Tavish the rest of the way. She makes brief contact with the floor, and there is an audible crack, and the floor sinks a little bit. Thankfully, doesn't quite get to the point where she falls all the way through, and so everybody can now safely get to the other side.
I'm just going to sit here for a minute.
Yes, you sit there and you think about what you did. Flesk and
Anybody
Gurkow are able to get to the other side, no problem.
Did Dr. Saw disappear for anybody else?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't move me.
Oh, you were underneath Tavish. There we are. Probably making sure the bindings haven't come loose.
No, this is when Tavish got yeeted. She ran into Dr. Sot.
Right then. Yes, Bonnet can make out a path ahead. Appears to be a caved-in tunnel ahead, but the tunnel does turn to your left, and as you turn this way, your suit lights illuminate another hole that you could scale down.
Gurkow, hurry! Hurry, Gurkow!
There's going to be more hole jumping. Right, gotcha. Quick before the doc notices.
No more hole jumping. Because I can get a character arc with this.
Oh, dearie me.
Oh no, I can't actually get a character arc with this because I have to reference the reference
Yes, you
of
do.
the episode. So I have to do it in 3 different episodes.
Right.
No, this is already your
already done
second
2.
episode where you
Yeah.
jumped.
Yeah,
So
I
you've
have to
already
wait
earned
for a
yourself
third.
another milestone at the very least for the most ridiculous reason. But there we go. Dear grief. Okay, you have found a gap in the floor that you could potentially climb down. So,
Alright,
the loose
how far down is the hole?
About. Let me think. If this is Orion, then they can move back towards. So I'm going to say it's about 10 feet, a 10-foot drop.
Yeah, okay.
So it's not ridiculous.
We're
Unlike the
jumping.
first one. Apparently, you're jumping.
Why couldn't we do the jump? Yeah, on this one instead of the last one.
Well, that's a question you really have to ask yourself, really, isn't it?
He's like, Bonnie's like, alright, I'm gonna go down. Pass me Tavish when I'm down.
All right then.
And then she like steps over the hole and it falls.
Actually, this is going to be really painful.
Yeah,
Somebody's
for you,
gonna
if
have
you
to
don't
grab
have...
her
Exactly, so
No,
someone's going to have to get landed on by Tavish, yes.
Well,
Tavish is gonna have to be
no,
passed.
Yes, somebody's going to have to grab her legs.
This sounds
Oh,
like
yeah,
another
the
fitness and
tunnel.
security job.
Can't we just like ask the ship to beam down like some kind of actual like propelling gear?
You could. You'd have to go
Can
back
I-
up to get it, but yeah, absolutely you could.
Can I ask for a Professor X style anti-ground wheelchair?
Wheelchair.
Yeah.
There you go. There's
This-
my fitness and security.
Very good, yes. To the surprise of no one, Bonnet manages to make it safely down without doing herself an injury, which means she is in position to help down anybody else who wants to come down the hole. So jumping
No
isn't
way.
necessary.
Doctor, I didn't jump. Even though I totally did.
So yes,
I would like to...
go on.
Sorry, once again, I'm asking to do my reading. I mean, having done the reading, I'd like to steal 1 point of momentum.
Makes sense to
This is
me. You'll get
Yep.
assistance from Bonnet for this, so Bonnet gets to roll fitness and security 1 dice. You get to roll 2. You do spend momentum in order to do the reading, but that's no problem. Pardon me. No help from Bonnet, but not that Gurkow needs it.
Whew.
Aces this landing. Drop, tuck, roll. Nice. So that's Gurkow and Bonnet down. They are now in a good position to pass Tavish down carefully. So I will allow this without needing to spend the 1 point of momentum needed to get more than 2 people involved.
Yeah. It's like, yep, pass down the injured engineer.
Yep.
Oh,
So-
you're so kind.
So either Gurkow can lead this again, since she's been doing so well, or Bonnet can lead this time. But I don't think Tavish is in any position to lead this. It's best essentially going to be an assist.
Right, here's my assist.
Okay, it wasn't terrible. It wasn't a complication, at least. Bonnet, yep, successfully manages to help Tavish down, so now it's just down to Gurkow easing Tavish down.
This is back to the security, so no signs for you, I'm afraid, Tavish. Didn't read anything in helping someone down.
Nevertheless, success was had. Cool. So Flesk and Sot are the only ones left up above.
Should we do
And
this one
no.
before?
And I'm going to go with, because you guys are less risk takers than the others, and we do have a full momentum pool, I am going to assume success, because you've got 2 people waiting at the bottom of the hole that are essentially going to help lower you down, so no problems there. The 2 sensible ones know to grab on, to ease themselves over, shimmy over to the lip of it, lower yourself down slowly, and then the people, Bonnet and Gurkow, who are underneath you, can just help lower you down. But I did want to see how well you got Tavish down, since...
yeah, but see, people have to get down there before, and, you know, the best way is Geronimo.
Ta-da! Kadoomsh. So, let me just assemble people into the next map. So, the area you find yourself in at the bottom of this hole looks like some kind of wide open reception area, potentially. This might have been some kind of habitat or domicile building at one particular point in time. Now that you're getting lower and lower, the amount of weathering damage is becoming less. But, Gurkow, those life forms that you detected before that were at the bottom of this structure, 2 large life forms have peeled themselves away from that cluster and are currently shadowing both your group and the Orions that you detect are actually here on this level.
So we're being shadowed by some kind of not beast, could be beast. And the Orions are also on this level, so we might find what they're looking for as well. What
would you like to do?
Can the tricorder determine how big the
sure
things are?
What do you have? Xenobiology, there we go.
Oh.
Might be good for Dr. Sott to join this one too.
Sure.
If only because your medicine score is higher. So control and medicine from both. No focus for Dr. Sott. Dr. Sott is only rolling 1, but Gurkow can roll 2 and does have a focus at least. So
here with my medicine of 1.
Nonetheless, a success. 2 successes. Right. So those 2 life forms that just peeled away from the cluster at the bottom do read as large and animal, probably. Likewise, there are apparently a trio of Orion life forms just up here. You can hear somebody moving about just around the corner. As for these animal life forms, they appear to both have split off and are now quietly shadowing both groups. So, how would you like to proceed?
Keep an eye on those life forms, Gurkow. Let's carefully move forward.
Shadow.
Okay, as soon as Phlesc moves up to here, he comes across a pair of Orions who... Stop! Oh! Well. Starfleet made it this far. One of them gives you the stink eye, but just keeps on going. Tries this door. Then goes around the corner. This guy just parks himself right in front of Phlesc. Looks him up and down. Starts tugging on the helmet, seeing how secure it is. Nice bit of kit you got here.
Thank you. It keeps us very secure.
Yeah.
What are you looking for?
Cozy. What am I looking for? What are you looking for?
We're trying to find out the source of this illness.
Oh, isn't that sweet? We're looking for history. Our history. Isn't that right, Vox? He yells over to this guy over here, who gets up from what he was doing, crouching on the floor. Yeah, right. As he walks past, this Vox fella nudges the one who's talking to Phlesc in the back as he continues walking past. Yes, Mark?
Oh, no, so some of our crew are very interested in cultural history. What kind of history are you looking for?
Ours.
Anything we should keep an eye out for?
If it says Orion, then it's ours. He gives you like that condescending slap on the cheek, but he can't actually reach your cheeks because he's got a helmet on. So he just pats the helmet. Dunk, dunk, dunk. Don't hurt yourselves.
Don't intend to.
I would say the same to you, but I really don't care.
Nevertheless, the Orions duck around a corner. You hear them fumbling at a couple of doors here and there, but otherwise they just seem to be going on about whatever their business appears to be. So some of you manage to be able to open doors and you find abandoned rooms just like it looks like. Those who are trying to open locked doors, they're either locked because the thing is actually the bolt is actually caught and locked, or more than likely they're so swollen with damp or twisted thanks to all the disturbance and structural problems this ruin is having that you just can't physically pull the thing open. You're finding all sorts of interesting amenities and stuff that suggest that this was kind of some kind of habitation. Yes, Liz?
She's going to search in this office for anything cultural.
Sadly, it's not stood the test of time. Everything in here is covered in that kind of weird grime that you get from plant matter and animal feces. And stop right there. Ethereal Egesta.
And what's in the loo in it?
I beg your pardon?
What's in the loo? Oh, ethereal. That's what I meant.
I see. What's in the loo? Well, you know, mostly debris and detritus these days. But what I want to focus on is Tavish comes around this corner. As she limps her way around the corner, she hears a high-pitched whine. And as she looks down, she realizes that she's broken a beam, a thin laser beam, that was drawn across the floor, just an inch or two high. And that beam is connected to a device that has now registered that the beam has been broken, and it therefore goes bang!
It's not Tavish's lucky day today,
It
is it?
really isn't. So, I am going to throw out... Oops-a-daisy. Not that. How am I going to do this? I'll throw that there, and I will do this. You have been hit with the equivalent of a pulse grenade, and therefore Tavish takes... Now it's a stun, and it goes off in an explosion that engulfs this entire corridor. So luckily, Phlesc being around the corner doesn't get it, but you do see the flash. Luckily for Tavish, it's not a lethal explosion. It appears more of a stun thing. So for the moment, I'm going to inflict you with, even though it's in injuries, it's actually a trait. Stunned 4. So Tavish falls back against the wall or on the floor, however you want to play it, but she is now seeing spots. The world has now been reduced to nothing but flashes on her vision and a very loud ringing in her ears that makes everything else sound muffled. On you go.
Falls on the floor.
Yep. So Bonnet races over to find Tavish very much on the floor with a dazed look on her face, as she is dragged unceremoniously from around the corner.
Oh, doctor.
Hello.
It just points at Tavish.
Tavish fell down, go ow.
No worries. Control medicine.
Yeah, sure. Yes, please.
Sure. 2 dice.
Yes, please.
Cool.
And Bonnie's gonna look through this corridor for any other traps, I guess.
Okie dokie.
There we go.
Dr. Zott. So, initial readings suggest, yes, it's a stun effect. So, she's discombobulated. She's experienced the essentially flashbang grenade at close range. So, her eyes have been overloaded, her ears have been overloaded, she's generally stunned. She'll get over it if you just let her rest for a couple of moments, for the ringing in her ears and the spots on her eyes to disappear, but there's no damage to her at all.
I'm actually going to do something. Seeing as Tavish probably knows that this is actually happened.
Yes.
Well, she will know this is probably a stun grenade. She's going to ask, at least for a little bit, for Nylil to take away the ringing in her ears.
Ooh, okie dokie.
Adjusting oral receptors.
The ringing does die down faster, almost as if your brain is being made to ignore it.
Booby trap?
Bonnet thinks so. Bonnet, give me insight and security. You don't have any focuses to do with foci to do with spotting booby traps, so we'll just go with talent alone.
I really gotta stop suggesting. I am not security focused.
No, you're not. But, nevertheless, Bonnet doesn't see anything other thin laser beams laid across the floor, so you don't think there are any more on this corridor, certainly. Eventually, Tavish does start coming around.
Oh, that was the question I'm going to ask. Seeing as I was really close to this grenade,
yeah,
has it done damage to my EV suit?
Thankfully, no. It looks like it was just, like I said, a flashbang. Its intention was to make a bright flash and a loud noise to disorientate and stun you. So there wasn't any actual physical damage done whatsoever.
Okay.
You were right on the explosion point, which means you were the most susceptible to its effect, but that was all.
Tavish is just going to go, everybody carry on and have a look round. I'm just going to wait here. She sees she sees the office, goes into the office, and then just goes and sits down.
Fair enough. Okay, Bonnet, whilst you're moving about here, one thing Bonnet notices is that this door up yonder way has already been forced open, and it looks like there is a shaft leading down. So somebody got there before you did.
Can Fhlesc have an attempt at trying to pick this lock?
Sure, you can just use a phaser to shoot it off if you wanted to.
Oh yeah, just phaser it off. Not that I'm going to be very good at it, but let's give it a go.
You see what you see.
Oops.
So again, there's layers of grime on this stuff, and it's just basically a cot, a stool, and some basic amenities. I say basic amenities, it looks like the level of technology is equivalent to what 23rd, 24th century technology would be. But the layer of grime over everything suggests that it's been here for a very, very long time. But, according to Gurkhau's tricorder, that power source is now only one level down. You're very close. So,
Come on, Tavish, let's get going.
Tavish looking very fed up, feeling very sorry for herself, but... excuse me. The end is potentially within sight. So, Bonnet, yes, lift shaft, kind of. I say kind of, very much lift shaft. Looks like somebody has already accessed it to get to the lower level. There is a cable that can be used to essentially lower yourself down.
Let's all safely descend.
Good girl just wants to jump.
Jeez Louise.
Of course she does.
By any chance, Connie, are you aiming to play any superhero games anytime soon?
No. Gurkha is the superhero that we all need. Or maybe she's just the one we deserve.
I was wondering if you were going to go with that quote. Nice. Is Gurkha the superhero we deserve? Well, in some ways, very well, maybe. It's like, come on, Federation, sharpen up just a little bit more. A little bit more aggressive. Alright, so, like I said, there is a cable that you can use to lower yourselves down. So, going down should not be a problem. It's just going to be a matter of care. So, how are you going to negotiate Tavish's descent is the main question for this.
Very, very carefully.
You don't have
If either
far
that
to
or-
go, which is a good thing.
Either that or we just push her through.
No,
Hey
carefully.
Tavish, look down there for a second. Bump! Push her off.
Can we sort of attach her EV suit to the cable somehow? And just have her slide down in a controlled manner.
Now, it was pointed out by Dr. Sott, nonetheless, or at the very least by Chris, that some actual repelling gear would have been handy, but you've been soldiering on. You could conceivably go back to get the some kind of repelling gear, but you've now lost time against the Orions, so it depends entirely if you want to spend more time getting equipment, or if you want to... Well, I'm not sure. You could even jury rig something.
No, let's carefully hand her down. Pass the Tavish parcel.
I mean, if Tavish is unconscious when she falls, she won't feel the pain.
True.
No?
I like that. Okay, this is interesting where this is going. Hey, Tavish, look that way. Boing.
Did somebody say something? I can literally all I can hear is see your mouths moving, and that's it.
That's when Dad's a rotten egg. Whee! Well, you know what I want next then, don't you, Liz?
You know, after this, I really should have,
Yes, especially after those 3 successes.
I really should have a trade about this.
Indeed. Well, that's what would be a good use for an adjustment, maybe, or some other such advancement. Nevertheless, Bonnet hurls herself into the chasm, grabs onto the shaft, I should say, grabs onto the cable, and just lowers herself down, hand over hand. Gets down in no time at all. Now, the advantage is there is a lift at the bottom, which means that the drop is only about 5 feet. 5 feet? 6 feet.
Like, alright, lower down the engineer.
Yep, so with Bonnet standing there, the drop is only 6 feet, because then Bonnet can catch her and lower her the rest of the way. Talking, of course, of Tavish, or indeed anyone who decides to help themselves into the shaft space.
Geronimo!
So again, this can be an assisted fitness and security.
I've done lots of reading on parkour. I need to do some kind of the practical as well. I'm gonna take one.
Bonnie is like half-hearted when it comes to Gurkha. It's like, she's fine.
Well, Gurkha being a Tellarite, she is a, shall we say, a hefty girl. All muscle. All stocky muscle. 2 successes. Well, she sticks that landing.
Yeah, that's why Bonnie's like half-hearted when it comes to trying to make
she don't need me.
fun.
Hands off, needs no assistance whatsoever. So both Gurkha and Bonnet are once again down, standing on top of a lift that you can now use to, a lift car, I should say, to just lower everybody else down, no problem, including Tavish.
Nice and safe.
It's okay. We all float down here.
Float. Georgie? I sounded more like Scooby-Doo rather than Pennywise there, I do beg your pardon. We all float down here. Should have been a voice actor, but never mind. Alright, opening up the lift's access, what do you call it, door. You all jump down into the lift and make it further into this level. Tracking through the debris, you eventually come upon what appears to be a mound of debris blocking your path, but Gurkha's tricorder does indicate that the power signature is somewhere on the other side of this blockage. You just need to get past it.
Alright, hey, Bonnie's gonna scan the debris and figure out the best way to remove it with a controlled explosion, possibly.
Ooh. Beta overload.
Maybe.
Fhlesc will assist with creating it, and so Bonnet can blow it.
Okay, let's see. I'm going to allow Phlesk's metallurgy to come into this. And yes, Dave, someone is doing some blowing up of phasers without Tavish.
Tavish is too hurt.
But for how long remains to be seen.
Actually, no. Tavish just kind of steps aside. Does not want to go anywhere near it.
Especially after the day she's having?
Yes.
No, actually. Just because of what's happened the last couple of times she's done this.
That's a very interesting point.
She doesn't want to do this at all.
Because that was how you lost Captain Sobek.
Yes, and it's... she did it last time, and I think she nearly hurt someone again. So she's very much like, nope.
The confused look of concern that Tavish is not wanting to do the silly thing, yes. Yep, she's even backing away from it. Okay, cool.
Oh.
Let me think then. This is going to be reason and engineering for anybody who wants to figure out the best place to place an explosive. That was the word place 2 times in the same sentence. Never mind.
Here's the assist. Whee!
Cool.
Alright, I'm guessing Darren in engineering.
From Bonnet, yes indeedy.
Would electroplasmic power system works or no?
No, that's mostly for ships.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
ship power rather than. If it was the more generic power systems, perhaps. But nevertheless, you didn't need the. You're doing fine. All right, between Bonnet and Phlesc, they work out that if they use. You don't even need to make a phaser blow up. If you shoot it on a. Not a wide angle beam, but if you put it to a higher setting so that you can disintegrate, atomize key bits, then you can successfully remove the barricade such that it doesn't collapse. You just take out one big block at a time, and the thing shouldn't lose its structural integrity at all. Fire in the hole! So, yeah. We're gonna go with a good old phaser shot. So, yeah. You fire your phaser and you take out individual pieces on the top and then work your way down. So I will allow that to open. And so you find yourself in a wide corridor, but there's also an area over here which it seems that the debris has been piled up to make the equivalent of nests. The nests are currently occupied by a group of large... how do I best describe this? They're the size of large dogs. But... I thought you might. Large raccoon-like animals.
I was going to say, they look like armadillos.
They're very powerfully built. They kind of have that... I say kind of, I'm using that again. They have a raccoon-esque look about them, insofar as they appear to have opposable thumbs, but very long claws, and their build, their squat build, seems to suggest something more used to living underground, and their long claws suggest digging claws. The fact that they're all grouped around a nest would suggest that these are youngsters. At the roundabout the same time as you start approaching, that's when the Orions turn up. And they arrive pretty quickly. But of key note is that in amongst this mass of rocks that have been twisted into a nest is a pair of glowing cylindrical rods that are glowing with a blue energy, and this definitely would match the power signature that you've been detecting all this time. There is a great snuffling, trumping, stamping sound as something very large comes from each different direction. And so it doesn't exactly surprise one to imagine that these, being bigger sized than the other ones, are the parents. The Orion captain looks at you, all of you, looks at the glowing rod, and seems to piece it all together. Has a sly grin on her face, and makes a jump for it, in which case I'm going to throw folks into initiative. We are going to start things off with just yourselves and the Orions. The animals haven't quite reacted yet, but that probably won't stay that way. So, spending threat, dupe. The Orion captain seized the initiative, leaps into this room and targets one of the creatures with her disruptor pistol. Now she aims close enough that it goes, that it creates a shower of an explosive shower of debris near to the creature, which of course causes it to squeal in fright. And it looks like it's going to start to move away from the nest, which will of course clear the way for her to move in. She takes a cautious move in, but then seems to look around from left to right, realizing that there are more than can actually be seen. Who of you wants to go next?
Can I go?
Go for it.
I'm going to shoot the captain.
Alrighty. She is not exactly behind cover. She is aware of you, though, so you get a flat difficulty of 2, control and security. One success. Okay, your shot goes wide, I am afraid. But it gets her attention.
Step away from the little beasties.
Okay, let's see then. One of the Orions goes next and goes straight for Bonnet, who deigned to shoot at the captain. This guy draws a knife. Bonnet, you are aware of his presence, therefore you can resist, which means you can give me a daring and security, which is the difficulty he's going to have to get over. You got me 1, so let's see what he manages. He got a 2. Okie dokie. Do. Actually, I've just realized something. Give me a moment or two. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Splinters of fire. It's odd. Continue this. You are armed. Aye? Are you not armed here? Second go, did she? There we go. You just check it's the right one. Let me try that one more time. Ah, you are not looking at the correct one, are you? Try that one more time. That's better. Alright, so his was daring and security, and he got 1 over and above, which means he gets to use his a knife. It's deadly, but that just means it does lethal rather than non-lethal. Only got 1, so I can put that back into threat. Bonnet can use 2 stress to avoid taking an injury from that. That's all Orion Guard is going to do. Whom of you wishes to go next?
I.
Go on, Lefty and Righty.
I've got a stabby as well.
You do. Only fair.
Yeah.
Let's activate Gurkow and Lefty and Righty. Alright, so you can use a minor action to move anywhere within this corridor. Where would you like to end up?
I'll go for around here.
Righty-ho.
Go for that Orion there.
Alrighty. Now I will say you're going to need to use another minor action in order to draw your knife and use it, so that's going to cost you a point of momentum.
Okay.
But otherwise, you can do a daring and security attack against this guy, and I will give you a daring and security check as his resistance. I got nothing, so anything you roll is good. And you got a lot of something. 2. So you got 2 over and above what was needed. So essentially, you've got enough there to use 2 momentum to either put them back into the momentum pool, or you can increase the the knife's damage by 1.
So do both points of momentum increase the dagger's damage
yes.
by 1? Oh. So I can't really split it up.
Right now.
Any thoughts, anybody? Are we aching for more momentum?
No. Go. You spend it.
Well, alright then.
Oh, twist me arm.
Yeah. Okay.
Alright then,
I would
that
like to
case,
spend some more.
dagger for you does 2, in this case it does 3, so you stick this guy in the back nonetheless, so he is defeated. Probably dying.
I mean, oh.
Oh dear. What
That's
have
what
we
you get
unleashed?
for hurting the pilot. Don't hurt their pilot.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. You hurt one of ours, we kill one of yours. This is Chicago rules.
Oh, I was thinking Detroit.
Well, yes, that kind of thing as well. I was thinking more Chicago mob, but if you want to go Detroit rules, yeah, that's just the same kind of thing. One of them, well, just saw Gurkow down one of them, so what's he gonna do? He is gonna dive forward, keep himself between Gurkow and his captain, and is going to stick Gurkow with a knife. So, same thing. Gurkow can give me daring and security as her resistance against this. I almost rolled a 20. I got nothing. Gurkow and this Orion engage in a brief knife fight. The Orion doesn't manage to get any purchase whatsoever. Nice. Good. Whom of you wants to go next? We've got Tavish, Sot, and Phlesc remaining to go.
Like, no one's gotten injured yet, have they, really, from our side? So
Not really, no. Just stress
be.
loss.
Not any more injured.
Exactly.
Very good point.
Can I adjust the phaser
Righty-ho.
to do
Minor
a
action.
minor action, and because you can change the beam so it's more of a spread.
Yes, you can give it the area effect.
Yep, I'd like to do that.
Alright
And
then.
then shoot this way
Cool.
at the twins.
Alright then, so it's a standard control and security shot with difficulty 2.
What was it? Sorry.
Control and security.
Control and security.
Because they are in the open, they have no cover whatsoever, therefore it is a flat difficulty of 2.
Yeah, I'm not going to do very well on that. So I'm going to use my determination of can't walk away to try and protect. I have absolutely no focus for this. Here we go.
We really should have brought Garo with us too.
3 successes, 1 over and above what you needed. Now, what we can do with the area effect. When you succeed at an attack, additional targets in the same zone may be hit by spending 1 momentum. So, that 1 momentum extra that you just gained means that you can hit an extra target.
That one. So if I've already hit those 2,
You hit 1 of those 2, so you can hit the other twin with the same wide-angle beam. If you spend
we'll do that.
extra momentum. Okay,
yeah, do that.
cool. Yours is a type 2. Ooh, right, okay. So that's 4, which means they can... They are named NPCs, therefore they have got the ability to spend threat to avoid damage, but because there's 2 of them, I'm going to have to spend all 8. So, they just about duck past and the wide-angle beam scorches the plate, but it was a near thing. So I have had to spend a tremendous amount of threat just to get them out of that. So that was Phlesc. Phlesc is remaining where he is, I take it?
Yeah.
One of them goes next then. Well, let's have one of the twins. Let's return fire. He's going to go up to the thing here and return fire. He's got semi-cover, but it's not great. He has got control. He's going to do control and security. You don't have cover, so it's a flat 2. I got 2 exactly. Which means Phlesc gets hit by a disruptor. So, Phlesc can spend 4 stress to avoid taking injury from a disruptor.
What does this do again? Once per mission, if the carrier may avoid injury from 1 less than usual. That's not useful here.
1 less than usual. So you would ordinarily take. You need to spend 4 stress. This would mean you take 3 stress to avoid injury.
1, 2, 3. Yeah, let's do that. Once per mission.
Then that's all they can do. Tavish and Sot are the 2 that haven't taken any actions yet of your lot.
Do you want to go first, Tavish?
Yeah, I can do.
Then, no problem, Connie. Tavish! Well, this is all kicked off, hasn't it?
Yeah. Let's move me to here.
Right then, so that's a minor action.
And then let's shoot this one here.
Okay. So that is control and security. He's got no cover, so it's going to be a flat difficulty of 2. Which you get, and then some. So you have got what as a weapon? You've got a Type 2.
Yep.
You got 1 over and above what you needed. The weapon would require 2, but he has taken 4 damage. He no longer has the ability to avoid, so he goes down. Stunned, not dead. Nice. Nothing else that you want to do?
No.
Alright. The other twin's turn. He's not happy about his brother being shot. He's racing in, brandishing a knife, and is going to go for Tavish. Tavish, you're aware of him, therefore you are able to give me a daring and security to try and avoid him.
Oh no.
Except he got 3, so let's see how you do. You got 1. He got 2 over and above. So, you have armor in the form of an EV suit, which means, Mark, you actually get 1 stress back because I forgot you were wearing armor. It gives you a resistance of 1. So
wait, do I get I get 1 back?
You too. Yes, that's a good point. You too. Because I forgot you had that. An EV suit actually gives you resistance. So, he got 2 over and above what was necessary. He is putting all of that into damage. So it actually does 3. Your suit makes it a 2. So Tavish can spend 2 stress in order to avoid injury by knife.
With my other injury, does that make it easier for him to hit me and stuff?
It did, and he's already... That's how he managed to hit you.
Okay.
Essentially.
I'll take the 2 stress.
Right on. Dr. Sot, you're up.
Cool. So no one's really done that hurt yet. I guess I'll
No one's hurt yet, no.
No, so I guess I'll go for this person. Just with my Type 1 phaser, I suppose.
Your Type 1 phaser, or, I hasten to point out, your anesthetic hyperspray.
Oh, well, if I can roll medicine instead of security to make that happen, then
Which
yeah,
would you're close enough to do it. You may as well.
Yeah, good shout. I'll give that a go.
Troll and medicine, then, please. Against his daring and security. You got 1. He got none. You got him.
Boom.
He turns around and tries to swing a knife, but Sop manages to get to block the hand and just jams the hyper spray into the hand that was coming at him, and so the guy drops. He goes all floppy, like a fish that's just been boned.
Do you want to know how he did that? It was his gorgeous goatee or beard.
Just dazzled the Orion.
Yep.
Hey, that's another one dropped.
Secret weapon.
Well, it's not that secret, it's out in plain view. Let's see. He's going to move here, protect his boss, gets out a disruptor, is going to go for Bonnet. She's got no cover. It's a flat 2. Which I don't get, so it's a swing and a miss. Next guy. Actually, he's noticed there's a very big critter behind him and is going to shoot at that instead. One success, he missed, so he's only served to piss the thing off. Okay. Same goes for this guy. He's going to turn around and take a shot at the creature that's bearing down on them. He actually got 2, so the beast has got hide that protects it, which means it takes 2. I don't have threat. This one gets hurt. Injured, not dead. Next combat round. Right, one of you can go first now. Who wants to start things off?
Go on, Bonnet.
Well, that's a good point, actually.
All right, I'm gonna.
Yep.
While you're at the critters, I'm going to shoot at the captain again.
Shoot at the captain. Right. One success. Unfortunately, that does not work.
And she's gonna move over here.
Keeping a pin down, at least she has to keep ducking from the shots that are coming near her head. You do move into the room.
Said
yes.
Stay away from the beasties.
That was Bonnet. So let's see. That one probably ran away. She jumps into the nest and is starting to root around for the glowing power rod. So that's what she's doing with her turn. One of you goes next. So we've got Gurk. Oh, Gurk out. Alrighty.
Oh, we're confusing. Are these Orions next to me? Are they concerned by the beasties, or are they just there
They
at the moment?
seem more like they're concerned about keeping themselves near their boss. Human shield kind of thing.
Okay, then obviously, well, I was going to take my phaser out, but I think that would take. Would that be a minor action to take my phaser out, or am I prepped already? Okay. Then I'm going to try. I'll do an unarmed strike. The knife is as effective as it was. It's too deadly, so I'm going to take on the one closest to me and try and knock him out.
So you're pulling out the phaser ahead of time, but you're still using your fist against the nearest Orion.
So I have I've abandoned the phaser idea. I'm just gonna go for my fist.
Just fisticuffs. Okie dokie.
Yeah.
So he resists with daring and security. Of 1. So, daring and security from you, and your focus of hand-to-hand.
Mm-hmm.
You get 1, so that was enough to hit. Hand-to-hand combat, your unarmed strike does 2. And I know they're just goons, so chin him. Down he goes. Orions of glass jaws. Especially when you use the two-handed sledge fist.
Mm-hmm.
Star Trek
Nice.
sledgehammer fist. Cool. Are you content with that?
Yeah.
Excellente. Then, Alright then, this guy next. He is going to back away, keep himself very close to his captain, is going to... shoot Bonnet. Control and security needs 2. He gets 1, so it was a wild swing and a miss. So Bonnet ducks and the thing just explodes, the beam just explodes on the wall behind her. Tavish, Sot, and Phlesc can go next.
Alright, if I go next.
All
Go
right,
for it.
Tavish.
Okay. I'm going to move here.
Okay.
And I'm going to shoot the Yuul Minor Beast.
Okay. Control and security of 2.
The beasties.
He's got it on stun. I take it you got it on stun.
I have got it on stun.
Okay. See how you do. 15 and 12 is 1, which means you've pissed it off. Didn't quite manage to hit. Uh-oh. Yeah.
Night little.
You're going for the Orion.
Night little. Need a sit rep.
Need to sit rep.
You're in trouble.
Need to sit rep.
You have just attempted and unsuccessfully managed to hit a large beast whose claws are made to go through stone. I would say you're in trouble, but then you know this.
Wanted a second opinion, thank you.
Right, Yuul Minor Beast. Flulump, flulump, flulump. Tavish! Daring and security, please.
I've got this.
I hope you do.
I haven't got this. I haven't got this. I have not got this.
You don't got this. Alright then.
Oh.
Everybody close your eyes, this might be bad. Okay. Piercing, so it ignores the EV suit. Which means 3. I got that. I'm going to knock this down to give it an extra 1, which means 4, which means Tavish needs to expend 4 stress in order to avoid injury.
I feel like...
As in, you just about managed to duck out of the way of a claw that wrenches things open, but you are now getting seriously stressed out. You're sweating, you're trembling, you know, that was near miss, that was a last-ditch duck. You're not sure how much more you can take of this. Sot and Phlesc.
Oh, God.
Well, quite.
Fine, I've got this.
Alright, if Tavish has got this, I'm gonna... Can I use the wide-angle beam to shoot this Orion guard?
Sure. You've already got it set to that, so that's no problem.
I've got it set to that. Need 2 successes, so if it's okay with everyone, I'm going to steal a momentum.
Mhm.
And then perform the task, and hope I can actually...
They're not in any kind of cover, they're out in the open, so it's a flat difficulty of 2. Control and security.
Control, security, let's go.
That's at least... Oh, no. That's
Legion
2.
of Honor.
Legion of Honor it. Alrighty. Alright, so the good news is you got exactly on what you needed to do. Guy is a goon and therefore goes down instantaneously.
The question is everyone okay with me spending 1 more to hit the captain?
Yeah,
Go ahead. Knock the captain out.
Bonk.
Let's see, then you've got type 2. It does 4. She is going to draw from her personal threat pool. To negate 3 of that, and then I have to negate the 4 with 1 threat. So she looks back, sees the shot coming, pulls her shipmate in front of the beam to take all of it for her.
Oh.
Damn.
But nicely done, Phlesc. Right, one of them next. This guy is free to try and take care of what's going on here, so he runs up. He's going to point a disruptor at Gurkow. Control and security. Nope, he was too hasty, and so that shot goes very, very wide. Dr. Sot is up next.
I might try and back up Tavish.
Okay.
Not sure how hyperspray would work on this thing, right?
No harm in trying. It's a mammal. It's a big mammal.
The best combat duo in the game, Tavish and Dr. Sot.
Yeah, let's give it a go.
One of them distracts.
You've already got the hyper
Tavish.
spray out, so you can use your quick action to close the distance to get there, and you can try and inject it.
Yeah, let's go on then.
Come on, Dr. Sot.
Control medicine again?
Yes, please. Well, would you Adam and Eve it?
Cool.
Managed to, as the thing is going for Tavish, and Tavish is there going, oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god, and she's ducking from the swiping claws. Sot just slides in around the side, configures the dose so it's a general anesthetic sedative, gets a rough guess for how big this thing is and therefore what the dosage is, jumps in, parts some fur, jams the hyperspray in. The creature gives a low before it just tumbles to the floor in a heap. Defeated, not dead.
We need to do this more often. I'll distract. You hyperspray them, Doc.
Which leaves this guy, this last remaining fellow. Gonna try against Phlesc here. Phlesc is doing an awful lot of good. Phlesc is out in the open, not behind cover. He shoots wide, doesn't get Phlesc. Right, new combat round. Whom of you wants to go first?
Go on, Bonnet. We've weakened the captain. She's all yours.
Liz, you with us? Said can't watch this, so I think Liz. Oh, there you are. Cool. Well, Bonnet's up then, so.
Going to fire at this damn captain. I'm going to hit her eventually.
Well, try. Never mind. I was going to suggest maybe steal some momentum to roll an extra dice.
Damn.
Which you could still do.
Yeah, is everyone okay with that?
Yeah, go for it.
God.
Whoa! Whoa! There's Thomas the Tank Engine.
If you've got a Legion of Honor, now's the time. If not, use mine.
You don't.
Right, there we go.
Okie
Bam. I'll use mine.
I didn't see that.
Yerk out. Go get the captain. I got these two.
Right, so
Yeah, I'll go.
speaking of, the captain finds one of the rods, picks it up, looks around, and then presses something on her on the gauntlet on her on her left forearm, and even though there is another rod there, she transports out, leaving her boys behind. One of you can go next. Tavish, Sot, Gurkow, Flesk.
I'll take out. Yeah.
do you want me
Captain's
to
gone.
Okay.
Oh,
I was gonna say, do you want me to try with my wide angle, see if I can?
Or
get
does
both of them?
Gurkow want to at least chin one of them?
I'll let Flask try the wide angle.
Okay. It's already
Cool.
set, so you don't need much. What you can do in that case is that you can use your minor action to aim, which means you can re-roll one of the dice.
Oh yeah, let's.
Damn,
do
I
that.
kept forgetting I could aim.
Yep. You're very quick on the draw there, which is very pilot-like.
Oh.
Exactly what
Yeah.
you wanted. So, you've got 2 momentum. Do you want to spend 1 momentum to knock out both of them?
Yeah, let's do that.
Oh, boing, boing. In a wide-angle stun shot, you managed to take them both out. Nicely done.
I'm gonna move up closer to the rod to try and grab it.
Yep. At the moment, the younglings, the young Yuul Minor beasts, are all very scared. They're backing away from you quite. Even as Bonnet comes in, they're starting to hiss, show their teeth, giving tentative swipes of their claws in the air. So, but that does give Flesk the opening to try and grab the remaining rod. Yes.
Bonnet's gonna attempt to placate these two.
Presence and medicine. I'm not going to tell you what the difficulty is. All right, you hold up your. Bonnet holds up her hands and shows that, and starts speaking in soft tones to try and indicate that you're not in any danger. Here's my hands. I'm backing away. Everything's cool. So you're helping them understand that you're not here to hurt them. They're still very wary, though. So they're not going to attack you, at least. Flesk, it doesn't take you long to find the other power rod. But now that you're in here, you do both notice that there does look to be some kind of console on the other side. And the paneling at the bottom is open. Looks like it's been torn open. And there's definitely a place for where these rods should have gone in to power the console. They were rudely ripped out, probably by these creatures, and the rods themselves being power cells of some sort, they do emit heat, so it stands to reason these creatures use them to heat their nest. For the moment, Bonnet is keeping the young creatures at least semi-placid. So you've got.
She's just gonna keep doing that until she can get them to come to her so she can pet them.
They're not going to let you pet them. Definitely not. They're wild animals and they're frightened, and they've just seen a lot of loud explosions and heard loud bangs. They're very frightened and they're not happy that intruders are in their nest, but you can at least keep them from deciding to gang up and mob you.
We'll take one as a pet.
This
Or
is
two.
Liz rather than this is Liz and Liz's menagerie, isn't it? Rather than Hopkins's
They're
menagerie.
cute. They're cute. They're cute little animals.
They wouldn't. Well, you've already seen how big they can get, so
They're so cute, though.
I leave it to the commanding officers to veto or allow these gigantic.
Phlesc is not going to pay attention to that for now. He's going to see what he can do with the power cell and call Tavish over to the console with him.
Okay.
Wait.
To work out what it does.
Wait, I got a good idea. I'm gonna come over here and help this one that was badly hurt. I'm gonna do some rudimentary medicine on it.
Ooh, it's not happy. It's got a disruptor burn on it, so it's not going to let you near it for definite, and it's huge. Very, very angry. It's just injured. But if you want, you can try something on it. Insight and medicine.
That's a little worse.
Yeah,
Uh.
but you wanted it. Oh, hello.
Oh no!
Why? I want cute.
You tried to help a large, injured, scared, angry animal, and therefore you have to. Bonnet has to. Does I say have to? Don't have to at all. You can spend 3 stress to avoid taking an injury from a gigantic swiping claw. That's as much as a warning as it's going to give you to stay the hell away from it. The good news is that the disruptor blast was minor, all things considered. So it's definitely not letting you get any closer. Meanwhile, the engineering team. You're trying to actually plug this power rod into the console, yes?
Yes, and see if it's enough juice to get it switched on.
You've got power systems as a focus, as does Tavish have power systems. So between the two of you, some control and engineering from both. One of you can assist the other. I don't mind who it is.
I've got a trait called historical engineering, if that's going to help here.
Probably, so I will lower it down to 1.
And if I lead, I'm going to use the Star Cross to double my focus range.
Okay. Then Tavish is rolling 1 dice, Phlesc is rolling 2.
Oh,
Not bad at all. 3 successes. They asked for 1. You managed to successfully plug in the rod, and it is indeed a power cell that connects nicely to it. There's a bit of repair that needs to be done because the thing was unceremoniously ripped out of its casing. Nevertheless, the sturdy design allows it to be fitted back in with not much trouble, and the console flickers to life. Now, the display is dirty and flickers from who knows how long of lack of maintenance, but you're definitely getting some data back. It looks like star charts. But that appears to be all that was... so essentially what you're getting is the last thing this terminal was requested to access. So the last thing in its active memory was the star charts. There's no real indication of how long ago this was. You would probably have to take this data back to the ship in order to get an idea. Lieutenant Turin would have loved this.
Can we download the...
Data? Yep, no problem.
Yes.
No problem at all. But considering the way that the young beasties are still mewling and growling, they would like you here for as little as possible.
Okay. After I've transferred the data to my tricorder, as we're going, I'm going to also transfer the data from tricorder to Nilo.
Okay.
Just so she has it as well.
Okay.
Flesk is going to take the power source. With
Okay.
him.
So, you've found the power sources. You're a bit far down beneath the earth to get a communication off to the combs. So you'll probably have to go back up a few levels before they can get a good communication lock on you, and you're going to have to ascend back anyway because you parked the shuttle nearby. But now that you can take your time, you can do so without further threat of injury. And after everything that's happened, a couple of people, you probably Tavish, are more than eager to leave this place. The good news is that the injury on the Yuul Minor beast who took a disruptor shot, like I said, was superficial, mostly. And the other one was stunned, therefore will come around eventually. Pet the asleep one, yes, that's fine, because that one's unconscious. You do have...
It's so fluffy.
Orions here.
Drag, 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 drag.
Okay.
Just gonna drag the bodies all in here.
I mean, some of them aren't dead, right?
Most of them, only one of them was actually stabbed. The rest were all hit with stunning phaser fire and, fists.
I don't know how that happened.
The dead one?
Yeah,
Drag the dead one in here. He's gonna placate them by giving them the dead one.
Okay.
Are they carnivorous?
I don't know. She's
They've
about
got
to
the
find
teeth for it. How sweet. Green meat.
He's gonna sit there and watch to see if they eat.
Well, they're
Jump on
very
it.
cautious since, you guys are still here, so they're still clinging to the sides of the walls. Nevertheless, you have a power rod, you have data, and you have prisoners, potentially.
I really want one.
Unfortunately, being able to transport one up and being able to tame one, and not to mention the fact that the amount of damage this thing would do to your ship.
It's not coming.
Not to mention the containment size this thing would need.
Leave it behind.
You could, but to do so and keep it on the combs would be inhumane, because the thing would need a lot of room.
No, not coming on the ship.
Oh.
Leave it behind, I'm afraid.
Not coming on my ship.
We can't just put it in the
No,
holodeck.
no.
Great idea. An image of it for the holodeck.
Who's got the holographic camera?
Well, you could just take tricorder scans of them and you'll be able to replicate it in a holodeck. Job done. Okay. Are you going to go to the bother of removing the Orions?
No, I don't think so.
I mean, would we contaminate?
We can search them to see if they've got any clues as to what they were doing, what they, how they're communicating, how they're transporting.
They have generic equipment, so blades, disruptor pistols, and communicators.
I'm gonna look at these two, see if they have. They seem to be more to the captain. See if they have any notes on them.
Well,
Actually, no. Just take them.
Oh, that is true. We're gonna take these two.
just take those two. Okay.
Oh, the twins. Yeah,
Yes.
twins.
Now,
Yeah.
the one thing you do notice about looking over all of the Orions is that they each have a tattoo. Orion males tend to have piercings and tattoos anyway, mostly those kind of weird metallic piercings that they like to drape from their heads and stuff. But each one of the Orions here has a tattoo of a downward-facing black sword. The twins, however, have a really big tattoo of that across their backs.
Yep, take him.
Okay.
And just leave the other ones here. And hope they wake up before
The beasties do.
the beasties.
Well, quite.
And just to help the beasties out, Bonnie's gonna hit the Orions on the head one more time.
You leaving them their weapons, or are you taking their weapons away?
Nope.
Taking the weapons.
Bonnie's
Okay.
already taken a knife, and it's like, it's mine now.
All right. Bonnet is keeping an Orion dagger. Okie dokie. Gotcha. All right. So the going
Do they have
back
any
up to the
grenades on
surface
them?
is hard going. Sorry, Liz. What was that?
Do they have any pulse grenades on them?
No.
Damn.
If they did, they must have used whichever ones they had on their persons to booby-trap the hall upstairs. Which is an interesting point, because when you come back the way you came, you do find in the corridor on the opposite side of where Tavish got bombed, another similar booby-trap was left. So this time you were at least caught prepared. The twins make it difficult going, especially because you have Tavish who's limping as well. But the good news there would be as soon as you get at least 2 levels above, you are within transporter range.
Yeah, Tavish, you're gonna be transported back. Bye.
So, yes, Tavish and the 2 Orion prisoners can be transported back to the combs, no problem. The rest of you have to keep going and retrieve the shuttle.
Hey, you guys can all teleport. I'll retrieve the shuttle. Don't worry.
Do you seriously want to leave Bonnet on her own, unsupervised?
No.
What's the
No.
likelihood she'll go back for one of those animals?
Certain.
Probably end up
Almost
getting herself munched on, yes. Okay.
Aww. Is he really that predictable?
All right then. Sometime later. The prisoners have been squared away. The remaining Orions have essentially been left, but the Orion ship itself broke orbit not long after the Orion captain bugged out. So those Orions that you left behind and the lower level of the abandoned structure are essentially without a way home. As such, Lieutenant Garrow insists that a security detail be sent in to retrieve the remaining Orions so that they're not around to plague the scientists on the colony, because they've already been through enough as is. So you end up with a fairly full brig.
But I will let the colony know. It's like, there's some animals. If you happen to placate one of them, just let me know so I can come visit when I can. If I can.
At the very least, yes, you've given the zoologists on the expedition something very much to look forward to. You've given them a place where you can find them, and you've given them a description of what they are, what they look like, and how dangerous they can potentially be. Therefore, the zoologists who are part of the scientific expedition have got something to look forward to. And if indeed they find anything interesting, they promise they will forward any such information on to Bonnet if she wishes. Tavish, of course, is admitted to sickbay and therefore gets her bones repaired. Even though Dr. Sott is very much a case of now, what did we learn this time?
Don't try and jump down holes. 2 days in a row.
Very good.
That's almost right.
The emergency medical drone gives Tavish a lollipop.
Yeah.
Oh.
Can I go swing?
Funnily enough, yes, it was sedated. Let me think. So, Dr. Ram and her disease response team, by the time you get back, have got the situation well in hand. The disease was close enough to the the Andorian flu, that they were able to synthesize a cure very, very quickly, and everybody on the scientific colony responded very well to treatment, and therefore everybody is going to make a full recovery. Yeah, I know, but it would have been it would have stretched the realms of credibility, I'm afraid, Liz. Nevertheless, as everything is winding down and the crew is getting ready to depart, the disease response team are starting to close down their operation. The disease response team do insist that they be allowed to remain a little longer, therefore the Combs is able to hang about for a day, which gives the science team time to analyze the data that you found, as well as the power rod. So, Ensign Eversion and Lieutenant Dufresne both, at some point, managed to corner Gurkow and present her with their findings. So whilst either when she's in her office or in a corridor on the ship, Eversion and Dufresne both stop Gurkow in her tracks. Boss, we got the results. First of all, the power source. We had a good analysis of it, and this thing is incredible. We currently don't have any power source technology like this. The fact that this thing is probably 1,000 years old or more, and it's still burning bright, I couldn't tell you how they've managed to accomplish this. The method of creating this kind of battery, and that's what it appears to be, is a battery, literally a battery, is currently beyond us. Starfleet Science are going to be looking at this thing for years, I think, before they figure it out. He looks over at Dufresne, who hands Gurkow another datapad. I analyzed the star chart data that Commanders Phlesc and Tavish also managed to get from that console, and she looks over at Eversion. Yeah, we had to use Lieutenant Turin's xenoarchaeological routines to test for authenticity. So hopefully that's okay. We're not technically breaking into a deceased crew member's quarters or anything, but we are using her research methods to try and verify whether or not these star charts were legit. And, well, it seems that they are. What we can tell, this is a star map of territory that apparently the Orions held at some point in history. It's not immediately obvious, and he points to some of the star systems on a current star chart. The problem here is that some of the star systems apparently claimed by this antique star chart are now colonies and systems that are currently held by Federation members. He looks over at Dufresne. If information about this star chart got out, It's possible that the Orions could use it as a means of declaring their old territory. Who knows, they might even use it to annex what's currently Federation territory. Maybe even invade. So, says Ensign Aversion, what you want us to do about it?
We should definitely let Starfleet know, but this shouldn't be something that's publicly available. We don't want to give them a pretext for war or annexation.
What does everybody else think?
Yeah, I agree.
Let the higher ups know, but not the outer people.
Okay. In that case, then yes, an entry in the log, in the mission log for this particular operation is included. Has the ancient Orion star chart included. And speaking of Orions, you do eventually hand over your Orion prisoners, and you get a notice back from Starfleet Intelligence, no less, notifying you that the sword emblem that each of these Orions carried apparently marks them as members of an Orion group who call themselves the Tarn. This makes sense to you because the name of the twins, if I can find them again, the twins identify themselves as Tazak and Thelis Tarn, which suggests that Tarn is not just a faction name, it's a family name. And the twins maintain that their mother, the captain, Lolani Tarn, is the head of the family. And that's all they know. Currently, Starfleet Intelligence is investigating the Tarn Orions, but this is a new group that they've not encountered before, and so it remains to be seen what more can be found out, and whether or not they do anything. However, no trace has yet been found of the Orion captain, Lolani Tarn, and whatever she has done with that power cell, that battery that she found, or that she took, rather, I should say. Who knows what they could do with such a thing? But in the meantime, you have successfully completed your mission to escort the disease response team to Yuul Minor. You've uncovered Orion interference in this whole affair. And now you've uncovered the possibility that the Orion Empire once covered a larger territory than it currently holds. So lots of intriguing things have happened. Nevertheless, you have succeeded at your primary mission, which means that we can call this a success as we draw this episode to a close.
Can I ask something before we completely close the episode?
Yes, yes.
Can Tavish ask the captain to send the battery, the power source, not to like normal Starfleet, like
Starfleet
science, but actually send it off to Starfleet R&D?
Send it to Daddy.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Captain Sobek will use whatever influence he has to, to notify Starfleet Research and Design that it's there is something they definitely want to look at.
I can't remember what it's called. Sorry.
What now?
I said I can't remember what it's called now. Starfleet's R&D. Yeah.
Research and development. Pardon me. That was it.
No. The actual place for it. There's a actual place in Star Trek in I can't remember what it's called.
Institute or something, right?
The Daystrom Institute, isn't it?
Or something.
Yeah, Daystrom is a civilian institute, I do believe. So it may very well be, but it's not actually Starfleet research and development.
Okay.
A lot of good stuff does go on in Daystrom, but as far as I remember being told, Daystrom is indeed a civilian operation. Unless anybody else in chat wants to correct me of that. Not so far? Okay. And so, yes, successful mission. Well done for delivering the disease response team and at least keeping the Orions from retrieving 2 power sources and the star charts. We'll see if anything comes of this, but for the time being, that's all here. That's all she wrote. So, unless anybody has anything they would like to add to the end?
Don't go jumping down holes when you know you can't land properly. That's my advice to everybody watching.
I almost feel like myself and Bonnet should have a talent for just jumping down holes now.
Well, you know, you've probably both gained an adjustment, so if you want to replace one of your foci with parkour, you could spend an adjustment to do that.
Can I have a focus called?
Go on.
Can I have a focus called failed parkour?
I don't think you need a focus for that. Just need to not do it. Nevertheless. Well, in that case, thank you to everyone who stuck around and watched, if you did. And we hope you enjoyed it. If you are watching this on YouTube later on, after the fact, pardon me, I'm getting an itchy nose. If you enjoyed this on YouTube and you fancy giving us a like, then please feel free to do so, because it helps not only us, but everybody else who does anything to do with Star Trek and actual plays of role-playing games, as it appeases our Lord and Master, the algorithm. But for the time being, we will say thank you very much for sticking around and watching, folks, and I will definitely thank my players for some entertaining romps through the ruins of past Orion structures.
Hey.
We will ask you to do like the Vulcans do, which is to live long and prosper, but also to very strongly advise your more impetuous friends about the logic of leaping great distances and trying to do superhero landings. Don't copy what you see on TV, folks. That way lies injury. But also, please engage in infinite diversity in infinite combinations. The world is a crazy, ridiculous place at the moment, and needs some more Star Trek in it for people to essentially point at it and go, you see this? This is what we should be aiming towards, not the nonsense you're going for. If only, eh? Rant over. Thank you very much for watching, folks. We will see you when we see you next. Take care of each other, treat each other with kindness and respect, and we will see you when we next see you, which will probably be in about 2 or so weeks' time. In the meantime, thank you very much, and we will see you when we see you next. Hailing frequencies are now closed.